This is just a webinar between Shane Gray and myself, an interview on, Shane's been working with us for a couple of years now on a program like S-Plan Select and practice mentoring to help them build their practice. And what we thought we'd do today is just give you some idea of some of the processes Shane's gone through for change and the likely impact of that. Shane, welcome, and can you just provide us a bit of short background on your practice?
Yeah, hi Vic. I've been working with you obviously for a couple of years, but our practice, Arthur Graham and Associates, was formed in 1978. It's actually my father's practice, and he did some work with Vic in a former role back in the 80s. So I joined the practice in 2007, and we went through how we were going to basically hand the business over to myself and make it fair and equitable to everybody. And over the last 2 years I've been working with yourself, Vic, trying to get that right. And in the last 3 to 4 months we've actually merged with another practice and formed a new company which I own some of it. My business partner owns another bit, and Arthur he's a 50% shareholder, but on his way out.
Okay, I'm not sure Arthur would like to express that way, Shane, but but maybe that's more truth than not.
Yep.
Shane, in the last 2 years since we've been working together, can you just go through some of the major changes you've experienced?
Yeah, in the last 2 years, when I first met you, Vic, I had no idea on how to run a business or what to look for or anything like that. I'd been, I suppose, moulded by the traditional financial planning product and transactional advisor situation that large dealer groups tend to push on you. So by working with you, it's given me a greater knowledge on the key areas that we should be working with our clients to become obviously the top of mind advisors. I've got a better commercial business sense, and the contacts that I've made through yourself, Vic, have been excellent, and also they now form part of a suite of advisors that we can refer on to our clients or have our clients referred to.
Okay, thanks. You've just changed the name of the practice to WealthFind. Can you give us some of the rationale behind that?
Yeah, traditionally a lot of financial planning practices can be named after the principal, as for instance there was Arthur Graham and Associates named after Dad. We changed to WealthFind because we wanted to express that we were in the wealth industry, not just financial planning, but the wealth industry, and we wanted to take the principal's name out of it so that in years to come, when succession does come up for us, we could basically hand it over to the next generation and not have us being the principals behind it with our names. And Vine comes from, we thought it was very much to do with family wealth management. A lot of families are intertwined, and both financially and emotionally with each other, kind of like a vine, so we put together the name that was WealthFind.
Oh, good. Good. What has been the most difficult part of changing your business model from financial planning to wealth management?
Because I came into the business, only in the last 5 years, there were some existing employees within the business who probably didn't want to move down the track of where we were sort of aiming. That's been hard, although that has been overcome now, and they all see where we're trying to head. I think that was very much part of just incorporating them in whatever we spoke about with you. You and I'd speak, and then I'd go back to the practice and say, right, this is what we've learnt, this is where we'd like to head in the future. And also trying to break the habit of a dealer group model. That's been very difficult.
Yes. Culture change is always difficult.
Absolutely.
You've moved into higher markets. Can you provide us with some insight into that moving into the top end of the market?
Yeah, we're moving more and more into this market simply because, well, I mean, that's where it's at. If you want to become a top-of-mind advisor, you have to be on the forefront of people's families and how they work and ins and outs, rather than just being a solutions-based financial planner as such. So we've sat back and with your help, Vic, we're putting together templates on how to approach these higher net worth clients and their families, and it's starting to pay off now.
Good, good. Can you provide us with a bit of a case study of a client where you've project managed their affairs, where you've shifted to do that?
Yeah, we've got one of our larger clients at the moment is a sawmiller, and there's a family, there's two families, there's 15 people involved in the business. Now, Dad's traditionally had a financial planning role with him, insurance, you know, superannuation and that type of thing. But we moved with them to say, look, we can actually advise you and help you out on the difficult decisions within business. They've changed their business model from being traditional sawmillers to actually marketers of a sawn timber product at the end. We've helped them build a website. We've helped them you know, look at the ins and outs, profit and losses, balance sheets, all that sort of stuff. And by doing that, they don't actually move unless they talk to us. They'll talk to us, we'll organise the accountant, we'll organise the solicitor, etc., etc. And now we're actually, they want us over the next 2 years to put a schedule together to put the senior family members out of that business and bring the younger ones through. So we're putting a plan in place for that, and you know, that's to me is project managing that whole client and whole family wealth affairs, and that's pretty much a top-of-mind advisor. Yes,
it is. It is. What sort of fees per month are you charging these people at the moment?
At the moment, they're on $5,000 a month, but in the model that we're going with to transition the senior partners in the business out, we're probably going to we are going to put a $10,000 a month fee on that.
Good client. Okay.
Best client.
Yes, great client.
Great client.
Yes. What's the importance do you place on the business and practice planning aspect of what we've been doing?
Number one. That's the number one thing, I think. If you get the business and practice planning right and work within the framework that yourself, Vic, has you know, put in place and helped us with, there's no doubt that once we start seeing more and more activity around this area, that you know, the practice will succeed. There's no doubt about it. It's the number one importance.
Oh, that's good. Well done. You do a bit of work with accountants. What's been your experience with this move? What has been your experience with the accountants?
Accountants have, look, they've been reluctant really. Traditionally, from where I sat, the accountants hold the top of mind for the client most of the time. But I think it all comes down to communication with the client, and some of them can't communicate. They're very good at facts and figures, but it's the communication that seems to be missed out with the accountants. We do have some accountants in town that are now going, okay, well, we see where you're going with this, Shane, and as long as we're involved in the process in some way, you know, we think it's a good thing to get onto. But mainly, they have been threatened and reluctant to work with us.
Okay. How do you see the practice in the next 5 years? What sort of vision have you got for the practice?
Vision is that it's very much a we offer, you know, a two-tier model, being a private wealth model and a traditional financial planning model. being in the country, we can't discriminate too much, but I see us being a multi-site practice, very profitable, sitting with high net worth families, with healthy debt, and the business is continuing to grow. And then, you know, obviously we're looking at other opportunities like having an in-house lawyer or accountant ourselves.
To give the listeners some idea of the volumes you're doing at the moment, what's your turnover at the moment, or your revenues at the moment?
Revenue's 1.5 million. At the moment, we've only just joined, as I said earlier, only just merged. I would expect us to be at $5 million within 5 years, if not more, revenue, based on this formula that we're working on.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, I think that's very achievable, what we're talking about, for sure. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. No, thanks very much, Shane, for that. I'll just turn the interview off now. I think that's really given us and the listeners some idea of what can be achieved with a bit of planning and repositioning. You've